Today I'm going to be showing you how to make my deluxe reindeer sculpture. Take your 11-inch mocha brown and inflate it. So, and then we want to let some air out. And we're going to marriage twist your red 5-inch round into this for the nose. So that has got about 3.5 inches of air in the balloon. It's already tied, and you'll notice that it's tied low on the neck, on the nozzle. So with this, I'm kind of feeling how much air I need to let out. So it's important when you're doing this that you listen to your balloon. Your balloons will tell you at what point to stop, and what we want to do is we want to be able to push this into the back here so that we can feel it on the other side, and at about that point I can. So right now I am going to tie off this balloon. I don't really know how many inches of air, I'm going to tie it off badly. I don't really know how many inches of air I've got in this. It looks as though it might be 7 inches or so, but I'm not too worried about the number as to how the balloon feels. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this under my arm and I'm going to squeeze the air into the nozzle area. I'm going to take the nozzle of the red balloon and I'm going to put it on top of the nozzle on the mocha brown, and then I am going to push both nozzles through into the back, grab hold of them here and twist them around. And then I'm going to take my scrap of 160, just wrap that round and tie the tails together. Now at this point, the temptation to put one of these tails in your mouth as you're pulling the tie is very, very strong, but I would urge you to resist. It's one of my pet hates. I know a lot of people like to mouth inflate, etc., but actually putting the balloons in your mouth, I think is really unhygienic, both for you, because you don't know where they've been, and also for your customer. So that's the start. We've got our nose and the muzzle. So take your 11-inch mocha brown, which we've inflated to perhaps about 8 inches or so, and I've got a couple of little raisins. So I've just used a scrap of 260 and made a couple of knots. We're going to make use these for as an external raisin. So we want to mark on the mocha brown roughly where we want the ears and antlers to be. And what I would say is they need to be further forward than you would imagine. So I'm going to go there, and on this side here. Okay, can you see that? Then I'm going to take one of our little raisins, and where I've marked it, I'm going to just pinch a bit of the latex and put the raisin in the fold there, grab hold of it, and then with a little scrap of 160 I'm going to wrap that round and then tie these together. Again, resisting the urge to put one of the tails in your mouth. So just once you've got a knot, just pull, keep pulling, and it will eventually tighten up. Okay, and once you've got that secured, tie a second time. And then do the same for the other point that you've marked. Next, we're going to make a couple of ears. So we want to make two to 3 finger pinch twists. So just make 2 bubbles, wrap them round, and then I tend to use the nozzle just to pinch twist those. And then we want to make a flower petal twist of perhaps about 5 fingers or so. Okay, and then we'll break this off, save the rest, and tie this. And make another one of these. Take your head and an ear, and we just want to use these tails just to wrap into the pinch twist there, and use both tails to do that. So at this point we've got ears attached. For the antlers, take a chocolate brown 260 with about 3 to 4 fingers of tail and wrap the nozzle into the pinch twists at the base of the ears. And then we want to make a bubble of perhaps about 4 fingers, followed by 2 2-finger pinch twists, followed by a 3 to 4 finger flower petal twist, followed by a bubble of perhaps 4 to 5 fingers, 2 more 2-finger pinch twists, and a flower petal twist of 3 to 4 fingers. Actually, I think mine's more like 5, but there you go. Oh. Reinstate those if they come undone. Okay, and there we've got an antler. And the next stage is to connect the head to the muzzle. So we do that just tying the two together. Pull together tightly and tie. And I do that with both of the tails from the muzzle. Just wrap them round and secure them. So next we're going to give our reindeer some cheeks. So I've just made a duplicate of 5-inch rounds with about 3 inches of air in. So 1 stroke of the pump, and I'm just going to slide those round here and connect them there. And you'll see at this point why I say the ears need to be further forward than you would imagine. To make our reindeer's eyes, you're going to need a 350 white with a good long tail. We're not going to use all of this, so it's not critical. And we're going to wrap the nozzle into this cluster at the neck, the cheeks. And at this point, everything does wobble around a little bit. So we're going to need to make a bubble of perhaps about 7 inches or so, and then match that. Make another one, and just wrap that in at the neck. You can break this off and tie. Then we want to make some eyeballs, so you'll take your black 260 and make a bubble of about 3 fingers and another one to match. Bring the two together and just pinch twist those. You trim off the end but leave a good long tail, and I do tie these here. Take your eyeballs and feed them through the 2 white bubbles there, so they're just kind of sitting on top, and then pull the 260 round into that cluster. Okay, so that's our head, and next we'll move on to the body. So I've inflated a 646 to about 2 fingers of tail, and then I'm going to tie the nozzle directly on to the end there. Okay, and then I'm going to take another 646, inflated to about the same size, and I'm going to wrap it through here and tie the two together. I've made a cluster of 4 5-inch round chocolate brown, and I'm just going to wrap those into the base there for the hooves. Okay, next for the arms, I've got a 350 mocha brown with a good long tail of perhaps about 6 or 7 inches or so. I'm going to make the hooves with some round 5-inch rounds, and I'm just going to put 1 puff of air into each 5-inch round, and I'm going to tie high on the nozzle. And in fact, I'm actually finding this Qualitex pump really quite temperamental. It's a new one and it's not behaving as I would expect it to, which is why it's really important you learn to use your eyes to judge whether you think something's the same size, whether it's sized correctly, because you can't always rely on the equipment that you've got. So usually it's very good, but you need to be able to judge things with your eyes as well. So we've got a nice soft balloon here, and I'm just going to squeeze off a bubble, perhaps about 3 fingers, and pinch twist that just to finish off the hooves, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. You don't need to do this for the hooves that are at the base, but I think this looks quite nice for the arms. And then we're going to roughly find the middle, twist that, and we're going to thread that through the centre here. Okay, and we can wrap those round. And that's our body. We can give these some shape. It's a very basic body, but it works really well, and you'll find that people's eyes are drawn to the detail on the head. So to say you can put any kind of body on the head is kind of overstating things a little bit. But you don't need to go to town on the body that you do for this sculpture, because people will be, looking at the head, and that's the thing that's going to have the impact. So I've made a cluster of 5-inch rounds with about 1 stroke of the pump in, or about 3 inches of air, and I'm just going to wrap those in to the neck. That's going to keep our arms in position, and it's going to give us a nice sturdy connection point for the head. So we can take our head, we can take a scrap of 260, so we're just wrapping that through, giving us a nice attachment point. And then we're just going to lose hold of the other end. And we're just going to pull these tails down into that cluster at the neck. And at this point, everything does move around and go out of position. Need to pull everything down into that cluster. Okay, and now we can start to rearrange everything. There we have him so far. So now for a final touch, take a lime green or whatever colour green you want, 260, and we're going to make 3 large pinch twists. So pinch twists of 3 to 4 fingers. So they're almost turning into loop twists. Okay, this, and then we just want a scrap of red 260 that we can add in there. You can break this off, leave a little bit of a tail, save this, and make another one of these. And then take your little bit of holly and just wrap it into those pinch twists on the antlers. And I tend to do one high and one low on the other side. It's your sculpture, you do whatever you like. It's your design, you're the artist. So I think it's really important to personalise things and put your own stamp on things. So, you can do that with the little finishing details. But there we have our completed Rudolph sculpture. I really hope you like him. When I'm staging him, I do tend to put him on a base, clusters of balloons so that he can stand. I will stage him with presents, balloon presents, that sort of thing, so he's helping Santa. And it's nice to create a bit of a narrative around your piece. I think it draws people in a little bit more if your design, your sculpture tells a bit of a story. So I really hope you like him, and I'll see you again soon.